What's up, brewskis? My name is Marco Dupa. With me, as always, the great and powerful Adam Obesius Rodriguez.
I have contact lenses.
Look at that.
Wow. I can't look at that.
You can look at everything. Are they not like protruding out of your eye? Your prescription is so bad.
I feel like that would be hard. I'm constantly in the... Yes.
Tonight's brew is from the Wynwood Brewing. The Wynwood
Company.
Brewing Company. The Wynwood Brewing Company. Based out of Miami, Florida, the Father Francisco. And Obi's going to have more about that, a lot more, after the break. Tonight, what's on tap? What do we got? Stranger Things. We're going to put a cap on that for now. Next month, they're coming back. We're going to get the second half, or I don't know. Some people have called it season 5. Some people have called it the second half of season 4.
It's definitely the second half.
Yeah.
It's just 2 episodes. 2 big episodes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, well then it's definitely just the second half. It's not season. You can't call that season 5. No.
Those people are stupid.
Stupid. We got some trailer trash.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know. We'll get into some shit.
Are you curly? Are you curly right now?
We'll get into some shit.
Uh-huh.
All right. All that and more. Let's figure it out. This is episode 358 of the One Beer In podcast.
Frank Thomas is offering.
You couldn't splooge if you tried. Please.
I want a splooge.
I just want a splooge. This is interesting. Liquid displacement. Right? I mean, the theory is just called displacement, right? Not theory, the scientific. I don't know.
Evidence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a point, but
You do.
cheers first.
Cheers. Mm. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. We poured these obviously out of the same can. You saw it. And into 2 different glasses. But doesn't it look like I have more than you? Right? And I'm only saying this. I know that people are like, yeah, dummy, that's how cups work.
Uh-huh.
I bring it up because you wouldn't believe how many people come into the bar asking for a man glass, quote unquote, or not reading the menu or understanding how much liquid they're getting in a pour.
Right.
Or seeing it in a different cup and think, oh, like a Hefeweizen glass is a really good example. You pour something into a Hefeweizen glass versus like a pint glass or like a Stein or something.
Right.
And they see the tall, they're like, oh my God, like what am I supposed to do with all this? It's like, motherfucker, like whatever you would do with a pint.
Right.
The same thing.
Yeah.
Shove it up your ass. I don't know.
Okay. Sounds like you have some stuff to work through. I'm glad we're starting on this note.
I have.
Maybe it's some kind of like public perception that they're afraid of. They don't want to be seen as feminine.
It's part of the man glass issue, right?
Yeah, I don't know what it is. But some people seem to not understand that it's the same amount of liquid going into a glass, just shaped differently.
Yeah.
And
or oftentimes if you are getting a smaller amount, it's because it's stronger or more expensive.
Yeah.
So
well, that's the other thing. It's like, okay, so you want this like, 10%, and it's always just like it's always a pissing contest where they're like, I can handle it, put it in a pint glass, and I'm like, no,
yeah,
because that's not how we sell it. So
Yeah.
I'm not going to just put it in a glass.
Sure.
And that's the other thing. They think that it's just like They think it's this arbitrary thing that we just decided that that's going to go in that glass and that's going to go in that glass.
Yeah. Well, and it should be noted, because I think some people who don't know about beer, at least as much as we do, which is not very much.
Not much.
Some. That's not a pretentious thing to say, you know?
Yeah.
I think some people would take that as a very pretentious, hipstery thing to say about beer.
Yeah.
Like, just put it in the glass, whatever.
Yeah.
It's not the case, though, you know? It's a tradition thing. It's a stylistic thing. It's even a flavor thing, depending on what style you're getting poured.
Yeah.
Stuff tastes different in different glasses.
Yes, it's a whole thing.
Yeah.
It's
pours different.
Everything is done on purpose. Especially, it's just trust us.
I think the vast majority of people that go to Red Light know that and get it, and are down for that kind of service because they appreciate that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. That's why you go to a place that appreciates that kind of thing, instead of an ale house where you just get everything in a pint or a tall boy.
Yeah, fuck you, ale house.
No, there's a time and place.
No, there isn't. Fuck you, ale house.
All right. Well,
fuck every ale house.
Well, there goes the sponsorship.
No, I mean, I love Ale House. Well, I don't love Ale House.
Let's roll it back a little bit.
I don't love Ale House.
Yeah.
I do love the Zinger Mountain Melt. That's for damn sure. I mean, what a masterful thing to put together.
That is my once a year treat. Mm-hmm. You have it once and you're good.
Yeah.
For a
well,
while.
it's enough food to be good for a year.
Yeah. Enough calories.
Yeah. Damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Off my soapbox of the beer pours and whatnot. Okay.
Right.
This is the One Beer In podcast, the podcast where two brews crack open a brew, and we see where that one brew takes us. Obi, do you have a little bit more about what we're drinking tonight?
Absolutely do. Now, this is a very rare situation in which, first of all, if memory serves, this is our first time having Wynwood Brewing on this podcast.
Yeah.
Far, far long ago, I went to Wynwood Brewing.
Uh-huh.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
But I don't think I brought anything back for us to sample or try.
Selfish.
Very. That's me. Sorry.
Yep.
However, this time I did, and I wanted to start not only with an intro for the beer, but of the brewery itself. So I have a cold read, a brewery cold read, a very first timer.
Yeah.
Brewery cold read.
All right, let's do it.
It goes as follows. Wynwood Brewing Co. is Miami's first craft production brewery. Founded by Luis Brignoni and his father Luis Pops Brignoni Sr., Wynwood is deeply rooted in its founder's Puerto Rican heritage and namesake neighborhood, the Wynwood Arts District. Our neighborhood is renowned as one of the most vibrant artistic communities in the country and attracts artists and influencers from around the world. Our beer draws inspiration from our family and place within Miami's thriving local and international art scene. Our year-round portfolio includes flagship La Rubia blonde ale, crisp and flavorful ale made for hot Miami weather. I can attest to that. Laces IPA, Lock On, Father Francisco, and Pops Porter, which won a gold medal at the 2014 Great American Beer Festival competition.
Hell yeah, brother.
So, on to the Father Francisco, which is what we're having today. Well, first off, it is a Belgian-style golden ale coming in at a staggering 9.3%. You don't see that very often, my friends, in a can, let alone a six-pack.
Yeah.
So that surprised me, but here we are. The cold read. So what I've noticed is there are two different cold reads. What do? There's a cold read on the can, and there's a cold read online.
I mean, in my humble opinion, you go with the can cold read.
Okay, we're doing the can. On a journey since landing in the Americas in the 1500s,
Yes, I already have a good feeling about this one,
Father Francisco, known as the first Jesuit priest to set up a mission on the Miami River, is the namesake for our Belgian-style golden ale. an homage to the tropical aromas of South Florida. This golden brew carries fragrant notes of clove and other spices topped off with fruity esters. This unique flavor combination brings to life this effervescent ale that will take you on your own journey. Signed, Luis Brignoni.
Hey,
I like it.
beautiful.
I like it.
Beautiful. So far, so good. The artwork is fantastic. I like the commitment to the history. I gotta say, I'm on board right now. You know, this is doing a lot for me right now. I tell you, it's doing a lot for me.
I will say the website is very nice as well. Also, I'm not going to read the cold read on the website itself, though it is a bit different. I will say it does have pairing options for the beer, which is
I love
nice.
That.
It's very nice. So I'll give you that. Pairing hazelnut waffles, crab cake, spicy Cajun dishes, and triple creme. So do with that what you will.
Bold of them to assume people are eating hazelnut waffles, but I still respect it.
It sounds good to me.
It sounds delicious. I
would
love
make
a good hazelnut and a good waffle. Yeah. I used to exclusively drink
hazelnut waffles. Grind them up
and then just hazelnut cream.
Sure. Yeah.
That was the only one that until I started like expanding my Actually, when it comes to coffee, you don't really expand your palate so much as you like narrow it to more like concentrated, you know? Like you start off when you start drinking coffee, you're like, the only way I'm going to be able to choke this down is if you
add everything.
Until it becomes like a milkshake, right? Yeah. And then the more and more you start removing items and you start getting to the base coat, then you're like, all right, now I can really appreciate this drink for what it is.
The coffee game is so similar to the beer game.
Right.
It's incredibly similar.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Maybe that's why we appreciate both so much.
I think so. We just like brewed drinks.
Yeah.
I enjoy nice tea.
Well, I know for me, I just like the idea of like a slow process that yields something spectacular.
Sure.
When it comes to, and what you need is patience and know-how.
I agree with that completely. I also like the idea that what you put into something is determinant of the quality in which you get out of it. So coffee is very much that way. Beer is very much that way.
Yeah.
So, a higher quality bean and a higher quality processing of that bean is going to yield a more flavorful, better, bolder coffee.
Right.
More flavorful coffee, I should say.
Right.
So I like the idea of that. It feels like just desserts. And can I just say, so much of our life is not like that. So it's nice to have something that is, karmic in a way. You take care from the very beginning, from the planting of the coffee. Straight up down to how you make the coffee at home. All of that goes into having a great cup of coffee. And same thing with beer. How you pour it. From where your hops are grown to how you pour the beer.
Yeah.
What glass you pour the beer into, dare I say.
Hey, nice callback.
All matters.
It all matters.
And, I like that feeling of like, good in, good out. Garbage in, garbage out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's so much of our lives. You don't get rewarded for that. You put so much time and effort and
goes
willpower and you just blood, sweat, and tears, and you get no returns.
Yeah.
But there are a handful of things in this life that you get a good return on your investment.
Yeah.
And coffee is one of them, and beer is one of them.
Sure.
And that's why you have a beer podcast, because it deserves it.
Yeah, because you need to cling on to something.
We all need something now, right?
Yeah.
And some people have beer. Some people go back and watch the live-action Scooby-Doo movie. I don't know.
Sure. Yeah.
You like that segue?
I do. It's nice.
I wanted to talk about it because you brought it up. I don't know why. Oh, because of the clip that Why else did you bring it up?
Well, no, technically you brought it up. Actually,
well, I was watching a clip. I didn't mean to be watching it. I just stumbled on it.
I literally opened my phone and found the same clip on my feed.
Okay.
So yeah.
I'm sure that there's a lot of through lines with our Twitter accounts of like the likes and whatnot.
It's gotta be.
And it was some clip of Sarah Michelle Gellar and Freddie Prinze Jr. talking about doing the movie and like I don't know why they appreciated Scooby-Doo when they were growing up. That has to be such a stretch, when you're sitting in a chair and they're doing the round robin of interviewers that come in and do the
press junket.
Yes, the press junket.
Right.
Thank you. That has to be such a difficult thing to continue to answer over and over and over again. What did you like about Scooby-Doo? What did you appreciate about Scooby-Doo?
Yeah.
What do you think Scooby-Doo brought to the... What are you talking about?
Yeah.
It's a dog that solved mysteries.
Yeah.
There's nothing else. There's nothing deeper than that.
Yeah.
It's a cartoon with a bunch of teenagers.
Well, I do like the meme from back in the day that was like, Scooby-Doo taught us all that the real the monsters are actually all humans.
I mean,
or the real monsters are all human.
If the creators really intended that to be the point of the show, then sure, that is the deepest thing that you could glean from Scooby-Doo.
We are the monsters.
Otherwise, it's two potheads and then two horny teenagers and a nerd.
Yeah.
And they just solve, archetypes from the 70s.
Sure, yeah.
And a talking dog.
Yeah.
And
a van.
Yeah. Well, that I would dare say that that's an archetype from the 70s, the van.
Sure. And then eventually a Puerto Rican and a tiny dog.
Who's the Puerto Rican?
You don't remember him? Well, when they brought in Scrappy-Doo?
I know Scrappy-Doo. I don't remember.
I'm not calling Scrappy-Doo Puerto Rican, though he could be. he very well could be. No. When they brought in Scrappy-Doo, there was also a little brown kid. That we all just assumed was Puerto Rican. I don't know if that was just my household, but
I don't remember this kid.
Yeah,
you gotta pull him up. Pull him up.
I don't remember his name.
Well, I remember. Do you remember like the weird like iterations of Scooby-Doo? Now, I'm not saying like the 80s one, the 90s one. I'm talking about like the same show.
Wait. I'm so sorry.
No, go ahead.
Don't look. Okay. Don't look.
All right.
I type in Scrappy-Doo on Google.
Uh-huh.
I get Scrappy-Doo live action.
Yeah.
And then immediately, Scrappy-Doo found dead in Miami.
Click on that.
What's going on? What's going on? Oh, it's a meme. It's a meme.
I guess we. What is that? Click on that. I want to see.
Scrappy-Doo dies in Miami, Florida?
Scrappy-Doo found dead in Miami, Florida. That's stupid.
Oh, I guess in one. Speaking of iterations.
Oh, he actually dies in the show?
This looks like a clip or a screenshot from the newer Scooby-Doo, right? Like
yeah, for sure.
With Scrappy-Doo, like a memorial to Scrappy-Doo. That's very weird.
Murdered.
Oh,
it's a fanfic.
Okay,
it's a fanfic. All right. I was about to say, God damn, they got dark.
Oh, okay. This fanfic tries to mesh Scooby-Doo and Dexter, apparently.
Oh, okay.
So yeah.
All right.
Look it up.
Or don't. So yeah, it I'm interested in the live action Scooby-Doo movies solely because I place them in the same category as movies like the prequel trilogies of Star Wars and movies like that, where people, now that they've kind of grown up a little bit, they're adults and they have Twitter accounts and they can go back and pretend like those movies were good, and they weren't.
Right.
And those movies, like, because you said you've never seen either one of the live action Scooby-Doo movies.
I have not.
And I told you You don't have to, because they're both. What are you doing?
Look, I'm trying here. Okay, I swear.
Oh, you're trying to find.
I swear there was a kid.
Still on this?
I swear there was a kid introduced with Scrappy-Doo.
No, there wasn't. You made this up.
No. Did I hallucinate representation? Is that what happened?
Yes, you wanted it so badly that you created it in your head. It's a Mandela effect.
Oh my God, there's
Puerto
no
Rican
way.
kid.
There's no.
I think you're mashing like 6 different shows together.
Oh my God, I'm looking up Scrappy-Doo cast right now.
Probably like one of the characters from Captain Planet. A little Indian kid.
No.
A little Mowgli-looking kid.
Not Mowgli. I'm going to find it. Don't worry.
With our powers combined, we are Captain Planet. Captain Planet, he's our hero. Gonna take pollution down to zero. Stupid show. Dog, when that used to come on...
They talk about indoctrinating kids nowadays. We've been indoctrinated.
We've been indoctrinated.
What are you worried about?
I mean, at least we were trying to recycle and like not be racist and stuff back then.
That's nice.
I hated that show. Did you like Captain Planet?
I always thought it was kind of corny, but I still watched it.
I hated it.
Yeah.
I thought it was so like there was. I mean, he didn't even kick anybody's ass. You know, like when they brought him in, I thought he'd like come in and like wreck shit, and he didn't even do that. Just kind of flew around spraying shit on people. Like he was a cornball.
Well, I liked the idea of the individual characters with their own powers. I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
It goes along with like Voltron. It goes along with Power Rangers. I mean, later on, like Avatar after the fact.
Mm-hmm. But they never really explored that.
Yeah.
With the individual characters,
Yeah.
they all just kind of sucked.
There was a little hint of X-Men. Because they're all like teens and they all have their own individual powers.
Yeah.
Mind you, they're all related to the rings, but
excuse me.
I guess Green Lantern style. But yeah, it was. You could always tell it was a bit preachy.
Yeah. Whoever made that show really had a point they wanted to get across.
Yeah, we got it.
Yeah,
we got it.
We're gonna take pollution down to zero. I guess.
All right,
or
look,
not.
Look. Hey,
there's no. I
can't find the Puerto Rican kid. I swear he was there at some point. It must have been like an offshoot. I don't know. I remember.
I mean, they did a lot of special edition. Like they did the one where they were with the Globetrotters, and they did the one with the they did that spinoff with a bunch of like Halloween characters and. Yeah, maybe he popped up in one of those.
Maybe
Just a little Puerto Rican kid. I would love. I mean, you can spend the whole episode looking for this.
I just might do that because this is seriously Mandela effect right now.
Puerto Rico and Puerto Ricans in popular culture seem to me has always been like
motherfucker.
Is that
That's
him?
The kid. That's him right there. I don't know his name, but he's there in a yellow tracksuit.
You can find him. Scooby-Doo, yellow tracksuit, brown kid. I bet you it pulls up.
Brown kid.
No.
I don't get it though. He was clearly there. Like
well, yeah. I mean, we saw it now.
He existed. Is all I'm saying. All right. Whatever. If you guys know who I'm talking about, please write in.
If you know his name, little Puerto Rican kid,
please help me out.
I was gonna say Puerto Ricans as a thing, as an entity, seem very new in pop culture when you think about it.
Yeah.
Like when knowing that Al Pacino played both a Cuban
and a
Italian
Puerto Rican
and a Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
It throws me.
Yeah.
Because Carlito, to me, he's just playing Cuban again or Mexican.
Well,
he's definitely not Puerto Rican.
A lot of people don't realize that about Carlito's Way. Yeah,
that he's Puerto Rican.
He's playing Puerto Rican.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't come across.
I mean, he doesn't do it great.
No.
But I mean, that's the thing though. That's the sad thing. is like when you're so starved for representation, you'll take whatever you can get.
Yeah.
So I remember vividly being like, "That's cool."
Yeah. we got
I've heard Puerto Rican be like, brought up in the context of a movie with Al Pacino in it.
Yeah. They really asked him to do a lot, man. He was doing a lot of heavy lifting in the 80s and 90s. They were like really asking him to do.
I mean, they could have found. I mean, they did have a lot of Latin people in it.
What's John Leguizamo's ethnicity? Is he Mexican or is he Puerto Rican?
He's I'm not gonna even guess. He's a mix of different Latin cultures.
Because I'll say this.
We claim him though.
John Leguizamo is, you know what? I mean, sorry, we're looking at John Leguizamo's ethnicity. Don't want to go radio silent on you guys if you're just listening.
This
and
is
not
important.
Watching.
This is important.
It is important though.
His father's Puerto Rican.
Uh-huh.
Let's see.
Despite father's claim, Leguizamo asserts Puerto Rican ties. That's not sketchy. He's like, I'm for real, guys. I swear.
Let's see. They are getting too deep here.
Yeah.
Okay, so his name is Basque, which is from Spain. It's a offshoot of there.
I only know that because of craft beer.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. Wherever it takes you.
Yeah.
I mean, this. Why is this being so obscure right now?
All right. Leguizamo is Hispanic, and obviously multiple. Well, anyway, we'll just let the Puerto Ricans claim him.
I mean, I do anyway. Well, he was born in Colombia.
Okay. All right. Colombian.
So let's see.
At least Puerto Rican, Colombian, Spanish.
Yeah. Okay. Over the years, John has stated that he has Puerto Rican, Italian, Lebanese, and or other ancestry.
Okay. Okay.
Wait. These statements are not accurate.
According to who?
According to ethniccelebs.com.
What?
This is weird. We're getting into a weird
I think we found ourselves on like a strange conspiracy. John Leguizamo's not Hispanic at all.
It's very strange. A DNA test whose results were displayed on the show Finding Your Roots with Henry Louis Gates Jr.
Oh, yeah.
Stated that John's genetic ancestry is 59.4% European, majority Spanish. Okay, so yeah.
Right, Spanish.
24.5% indigenous.
Okay.
So that could still be like Puerto Rican and stuff like that. 3.1% Middle Eastern, North African, 2.9% Sub-Saharan African.
Okay, I'm not convinced that of him, being dishonest about anything at that point.
No, that was.
I mean, he's clearly Hispanic.
Yeah, for sure. Anyway, it goes without saying, we claim you, John Leguizamo.
Yeah. John Leguizamo is the shit. He can do no wrong, in my eyes.
His grandfather was Puerto Rican. That's all you got to know.
That's
good enough for me.
Take it.
Benny Blanco from the Bronx.
Yeah. I was going to say before we fell down that rabbit hole, which I don't regret.
Absolutely not.
I think Leguizamo is a talented enough actor to have been Carlito in the movie. I think he's fantastic.
Yeah. Well, I love to Luis Guzman is in there too.
Yeah.
I love him as a side character. Whenever I see him,
he's
I'm
one
happy.
of the best character actors of all time. He's the best.
Yeah, so I'm glad they at least brought some side players to come in that were actually Latin at very least, if not Puerto Rican.
What do you think they felt watching Al Pacino play a Latin character when they're just sitting there like, yeah, I'm right here?
I think they may have thought the same thing that I did when I saw it, and which was like, it's cool that he's like trying to, or that there's this big budget major motion picture that has to do with Puerto Ricans.
Yeah.
And I mean specifically the character of Carlito, spoiler alert, is a redeemed one, right?
Yeah.
It's not a Scarface. It's not some guy who's just like falling with the ship.
Yeah.
It's a guy who's trying to do better.
Yeah. Yeah.
So personally, even though his, representation isn't very good, for the time it was fine, and I appreciated the character not just being this unrepentant asshole.
Right.
And scumbag, It was
Right.
something.
Yeah.
It gave us something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even this world of crime. But
because before that, like Puerto Ricans were represented in like what, West Side Story? Aren't the sharks Puerto Ricans?
yeah, they are. I mean, again, another element in which a lot of them were not even Latin.
Right.
There's a lot of brown face going on.
A lot of tan. Yeah. Man, we really got a lot to answer.
Yeah.
Especially when man, like black people get there's a lot more representation for black folks in movies now than there ever was, and there still needs to be more. Well, people of color in general. And anytime you see a person of color in a movie, you're like, oh, now, well, cool, they threw them in the movie. But when it comes to people, Latin characters, it is almost an equal fight of like. If there's too many Hispanic characters, then it's a fucking gangbanger movie or like a quote unquote Spanish movie.
Yeah.
It can't just be all of these characters who happen to be Latino. They have to be. It has to be about that. The same as like when it's too many black folks in a movie. It's like, oh, it's a black. Movie.
Black
it's
movie.
Like, why
now.
can't it just be a movie with black people in it? And it's the same thing. You don't like watch white movies and like be like, oh, it's a white movie. Like it's just a movie. No one thinks like, well, there's a lot of white folks in this.
Well, it takes something like Get Out, I think, for it to transcend.
Yeah.
Because you don't look at Get Out and go, that's a black movie.
Right.
Like there's not been really a conversation around that.
But I think that there's just enough balance between black people and white people in that movie to make it so that it's not it really like if the family I mean that would obviously fly in the face of the entire point of the movie.
What about like Black Panther? Like
but there's that preface of it being a Marvel movie.
MCU movie, right?
So
and I can guarantee some people see that as the MCU's
it
black
is
movie.
yes for 1,000% it is the MCU's black movie,
right?
So
yeah,
and not only that, but like the fact that it got so overrated when it came out. I mean, it's a great movie. It's one of it. I mean, I rank it pretty highly amongst the MCU movies, but for it to be nominated for an Oscar for Best Movie, it's kind of like one of those things where like you're just throwing fuel on the fire of people going like, see, and
see,
and you're like, I can't even argue with you because I don't think it deserved to be nominated for an Oscar.
Can't really defend it.
But whatever.
Yeah.
But when's the last time you seen a movie with all Latin folks in it that wasn't based in California or like a Spanish movie?
I mean, I don't think there are many of those in general. You know, like
that's what I'm saying.
Especially in modern times, there's very few of them. I think, like, unless they're foreign films, like there's like Roma that was huge. That wasn't about gangbanging or anything like that, but
there's Paper Heist.
Yeah. But
or Money Heist. Money Heist is the English translation or the English version of it. The House of the Paper House, I think, is Papel de Casa, or I think is what it's called.
De Papel.
I think that's what it's called in that's in
Spanish.
Spanish title.
The Netflix show, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. The Heist.
If I'm not mistaken.
Film,
yeah.
Movie.
Well, film, movie, show.
Long running show.
I haven't watched it yet. From what I heard, the first 2 seasons are great, and then it just like falls off a cliff after that.
How long can you do a heist show?
That's the thing about heist movies.
They just keep heisting. Is that what
you can't just keep heisting. I mean, the thing is, you get the team together, you pull the score, and then obviously something goes wrong, and you have to deal with that. and that's the movie, right? That's the conflict. Is everything is perfect until it's not. That's the beauty of a heist film. Yeah. You can't just have a TV show. It can't go 6 seasons.
Well, that's the thing. Like a heist film is perfect for the confines of a movie. Mm-hmm. You know, like that's how much time you need.
Yeah.
Even if you pull it out as long as like Heat does, like that's a long ass movie.
Yeah.
But it still works.
Yeah.
You can't do that on a TV show. You
can't. No, you can't. And even can't. With Heat, like the point of Heat is that they're getting closed in on.
Yeah.
And the heat is pushing on them. It's starting. It's getting to them. Like they throughout the movie, like the movie starts with them pulling a heist off almost without a hitch.
Right.
And as it goes on, you know, Pacino's character gets closer and closer to figuring it out. They get closer and closer to each one of the characters. They get the informant, yada yada.
It actually it's very Game of Thrones like, because it actually starts like they are a well-oiled machine, but you already can see it cracking.
Right.
There's already something going on. Mm-hmm. It from the very beginning, it's already starting to crack.
Yeah,
and by the end of it, it's over.
Right.
You know.
Right.
So yeah, we have to rewatch Heat.
I mean, you ain't saying nothing but a word, my friend. I'm always down. Always down.
It looks like it's heat o'clock.
Should we talk about what we're here to talk about?
I guess. Well, okay, real quick.
You actually okay?
The image that I found here on Screen Rant actually ranking every version of the Scooby-Doo gang, which is actually a pretty funny concept.
But I'm glad you found that list because that's exactly what I was talking about. There's different iterations of the gang, and I didn't mean from era to era. I meant like iterations of like different, like, you know, like when Shaggy's not wearing the green shirt, he's like a different version of Shaggy.
Yeah,
and they do that a couple of times.
Yep.
So okay, go ahead.
So ranking in number 7 is the image that I found. It's for the 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo, which came out in 1985. Apparently, they have in this one. It features Vincent Price. Right there.
Okay, yeah. From a distance, I thought that was Blackula, but okay, that's Vincent Price.
They gave him a tan.
Sure. It does look like Vincent Price.
It does, yeah. Apparently, this is like a riff on 13 Ghosts, weirdly enough.
Okay.
Yeah, so sit out Scooby, Shaggy, Daphne, and Scrappy-Doo alongside new characters, which they don't say, one of which is voiced by Vincent Price, set out in the world to recapture 13 escaped ghosts before they have the chance to cause too much trouble after Scooby and Shaggy accidentally release them to begin with. The show held promise, but the fact that it didn't follow the familiar formula in which the entire gang runs across a mystery and solves it may have contributed to the downfall of this series, given it produced only 13 episodes. So
13 episodes
for 13 Ghosts. I must have seen those 13 episodes and remembered that kid.
Yeah,
because it seems like he's not anywhere else.
Like he's definitely Puerto Rican. He couldn't be any other ethnicity.
No,
he's
definitely
100% Puerto Rican.
No, he's got long hair and a tracksuit.
He's got long hair and a tracksuit.
That's it. Yeah,
I would love for that 13 Ghost version of the show to have like each one of the 13 ghosts, like one of them like ripping someone's skin off or something, and they have to solve this mystery, or they get to the crime scene and it's just like a bloody, gruesome mess.
Yeah,
and he's just like, suing Scoob. There's blood everywhere.
They skinned him, Draggy.
I know, Scoob.
He died screaming, Draggy.
He died with his eyes open, man.
God.
Okay, I'm glad that we figured out nothing, really.
I mean, at least I know it's real.
Yeah.
And that's enough for me.
It wasn't a Mandela effect thing.
It was not a Mandela effect.
Okay. All right. So let's move on.
Right.
We got some trailers to talk about, right?
Okay.
Right?
Well, did we finish what we were talking about with the Scooby-Doo live action?
I don't know. Is there anything else that you want to get across? I just wanted to reiterate the fact that like it's one of those movies that it's not that good, and I know that I'm gonna catch heat for this.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I've seen such an adoration, a re-evaluation and appreciation for these movies.
Yeah, it happens.
Hindsight.
It happens all the time. Every couple of years, people like reawaken and they're like, you know what? This movie actually not only like if you wanted to come back and be like, yo, them Scooby-Doo movies like weren't that bad in retrospect, I'd be like, all right, I fucks with you on that. I could meet you in the middle on that one.
Yeah.
But it's when these movies come back and everyone's like, oh, they're modern masterpieces. Like unironically, it's a great movie. Like, no, it's not. They weren't good. They're not good movies. They're not. Yeah. They're not good.
I mean, were they at least good as like kids movies?
No.
Okay.
I mean, okay, wait. All right. When you ask that, maybe the first one, yes. The second one, it just goes too far. It's just it's too much. It's just there's so much going on.
Yeah.
I mean, they do. The thing is, like, I think it was the beauty of the cast is what makes those movies work. Scooby-Doo, I think, is terrible, but
he looks freakish.
No, he's awful. I think he's terrible. But having Matthew Lillard as Shaggy is actually masterful casting.
I would like to say Matthew Lillard is just so underappreciated.
Oh, yeah.
In everything.
You know what, though? I think that people going back and appreciating Matthew Lillard is what started this Scooby-Doo thing. I think that's the genesis of this.
I do follow him on Twitter because I appreciate him. He was in the recent, or not recent anymore, 2017 Twin Peaks revamp. And I loved him in that, and so I started following him after that.
Yeah,
and I did see that weird, like, I don't know, return to Matthew Lillard.
Yeah.
Reevaluation of Matthew Lillard. And a lot of people like kind of fangirling over him now, which is great. I love to see it.
I really think that part of this Scooby-Doo love is the fact that Matthew Lillard is so great in it. He's fantastic. He's so good that when the movie was successful and they brought the TV show back, they were like, well, let's just have Matthew Lillard voice Shaggy. He's just been so good at it so far.
Yeah.
And they just used him when they couldn't get Casey Kasem.
Yeah.
There was a weird story with Casey Kasem. You remember that? Right before he died, he like disappeared. He like wandered off.
Yeah.
Like, where the fuck is Casey Kasem?
Yeah, I do remember. Off. I wouldn't have remembered that unless you brought it up. But there was a weird mystery. I mean, ironically, surrounding.
You better watch your back.
His disappearance. Yeah.
Yeah, it was weird.
I think it ended up being one of those really sad things where it's like, the people looking out for him really weren't out for his best interests and just trying to get his money, and it
is sad.
Ugh. But anyway,
and what's the chick that plays Daphne?
Daphne's Sarah Michelle Gellar.
No, not Daphne. I'm sorry, Velma.
Oh, Linda Cardellini.
Linda Cardellini. Oh my god. Oh my god. Linda Cardellini.
Whoa. Can I just say one of my very early crushes was Linda Cardellini.
I mean, of course.
Yeah.
She is stupid.
Yeah.
Stupid hot.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But I think that is part of the charm of these movies is that they casted. I mean, the cast is like objectively gorgeous. Like every single one of them.
Rowan Atkinson, yeah. It's a beautiful man.
Right, Rowan Atkinson.
Yeah.
That's right, yeah. Including Rowan Atkinson.
Yeah. No, that's crazy. Sarah Michelle Gellar, Freddie Prinze Jr., Matthew Lillard, Linda Cardellini, Rowan Atkinson, Isla Fisher, Pam Anderson.
I mean, come on, man. Look at that
crazy.
cast. It's crazy.
Insane.
Crazy. So I think that's part of it. I think that the movie didn't take itself too seriously. I think that's why people found the charm in it. But like, it's not that good.
Yeah.
It's really it's just, we go back and we pretend like these movies are good. Like I was getting into it with somebody about the prequels where they're like, you know,
The Scooby-Doo prequels?
no, sorry, I didn't give a lot of context for that. The Star Wars prequels.
Yeah.
I always say the prequels, and I think like everyone knows what I'm
understands
talking
it.
about. The Star Wars prequels, where like the first two aren't good movies. They're just not. They're not good movies. The third one is a good movie.
Look, I will fight you on the first one. The first one has moments.
It's not good.
It's not good overall, no, but it has enough
It
moments.
has one moment. The Duel of the Fates.
Yeah.
It has one moment.
I like
Name the other moments.
pod racing.
Fuck you.
I love pod racing.
Now that's pod race.
You don't like Sebulba?
No.
I'm a Sebulba stan.
No, dude. I hate the pod
Love me
racing
some
bit.
Sebulba.
I mean, I like the pod racing video game.
Yeah.
And the you know what? Pod racing, I'll say this. If you had me on Pitchfork over under,
Yeah.
pod racing, underrated. They should have done more with pod racing.
I agree.
Is
Yeah,
my
yeah.
argument.
Well, I see where they were going with it, and they could have gone farther because that's a great way to not only showcase that Anakin is gifted and born to be like this powerful being, whether he becomes Jedi or Sith.
Spoiler alert.
But also showing again his prowess as a pilot.
Yeah.
Because they don't play enough into that.
Yeah.
And, you know, from the original series, we hear that he was this incredible pilot.
Yeah.
But don't really see it ever.
See, and you know that I'm glad you said that, because that's part of one of my problems with the Anakin characterization. We don't have to spend the rest of the show talking about that, but it's stuff like that is like, yeah, they don't, in the movies they don't do enough with that, and then we're left with secondhand accounts of how good he was.
Sure.
And we're supposed to just believe that he was this masterful
Right.
pilot. Like, what does he do in episode 2 and 3 that leads you to believe that he was any better than anyone else out there fighting? Like when you watch, like when there's these big epic scenes where they're fighting, when they're in space and they're doing all these like dogfights and stuff like that. What does he do that is so outside the norm, other than being plot protected and not die?
Yeah.
What does he do that is so masterful and so like this prodigal pilot?
Well, and again, I
alliteration.
think episode 1 does an okay job of hinting towards it, but they could have gone farther. Because obviously, you know, the last act, again, Duel of the Fates, that entire segment of the back and forth action, I think it's the B plot of Anakin like fumbling around in that fighter.
Yeah.
And just having good luck and shooting stuff down and, you know, surviving all that. Hints at him being this talented pilot and obviously force sensitive and all that. I mean, obviously Yoda says that straight out, so you don't have to guess about it.
Well, yeah, that's the other thing.
But you know, I think that's enough to hint at it. They needed to follow through with 2 and 3 of him being this like ace, you know?
Yeah.
Not only being an ace, but also being an incredible Jedi on top of it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And that way the fall from grace is that much bigger and greater and felt more.
Yeah. Honestly, they do so much more than they needed to do. Like, in hindsight, and I guess we can leave off from here.
Yeah.
Because we don't have to keep doing this. But I think, in hindsight, why aren't the prequels solely about Anakin? You know?
Yeah.
Because the whole thing should have just been about him. Like, they should have been solo movies, pun not intended, about Anakin. Like, why are we spending so much time with all this other? I understand that we're trying to build this universe and like understand, you know, but like really, we're trying to understand how Anakin became Darth Vader.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the poster the iconic poster is so indicative of what that could have been. You know, of little Annie,
with
the shadow of it being Darth Vader. Incredible.
It's a fantastic poster.
Incredible stuff.
I just don't understand why we spend so much time with all this other shit.
Yeah. Well, it's because they're trying to sell toys.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah.
I mean, that's always been it, and that's fine. It's just,
why are we doing this?
I don't know. All roads lead to Star Wars.
They always do. They always do.
Yeah.
They always do.
It's
if
fine.
this was a Star Wars podcast, we could just spend.
I mean, we could definitely. Well, okay. So one last word on it. It's only because I want to cover my own ass.
Okay.
Because, again, I haven't seen much of Clone Wars. I haven't seen any of the Bad Batch. I haven't seen Rebels. But that could be full of a bit more context for Anakin Skywalker, which I'm sure it is.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
It is, but that's cheating, I think, in my opinion. It's
Sure.
cheating. Of course, they created a cartoon and they're like, yeah, now we're going to flesh out these characters. Like,
Well,
yeah,
you
of course
see
are
it. You
now.
see it even with Obi-Wan. There's more fleshing out of the young Darth Vader.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
get a little more taste of that.
Yeah. Isn't it weird how young Darth Vader actually is?
He's in his 20s.
Yeah, it's strange.
Yeah.
I've always pictured him as being like 45 to 50.
Well,
Always.
he's got the voice of a 70-year-old black man. So
Yeah, that's true.
I mean,
Has James Earl Jones just been 70 for 100 years?
yeah, since The Sandlot.
He's just been.
Maybe-
He was really old in The Sandlot.
Yeah.
How old is he now?
Well, no, I think they aged him up for Sandlot because
I
he
hope
had
so.
to be
He's-
an old man for Sandlot. Like he had to
Yeah.
be a really old man for Sandlot.
Yeah.
Like Sandlot to me, he was playing like 75, 80,
Yeah.
like an
Old
timer.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. There's
Yeah.
no way that he was, because he'd be like 130 right
Yeah,
now.
no.
There's no way he was that old.
I mean, what
He had to be like in his 50s in Sandlot,
Sandlot?
because he's like 90 now.
Sandlot, he's got a. I don't know. I'd say he's in his 60s in Sandlot.
Oh, well, I don't know. Let's find out.
Wait, let me do it. Let
it.
me do it.
Do it,
Let
do
me
it,
be
do
the
it.
computer.
Okay, all right. So let's say, all right. First, when did Sandlot come out?
The Sandlot.
95?
I think it was 95. I want to say 95. Let's see. 93.
Fuck! 2 years off. Okay, 1993.
Yeah.
James Earl Jones was already like an established stage actor in his own right.
I mean, he'd been in Star Wars too.
Yeah, there's that little thing called Star Wars that he
Yeah.
was already in. 93. How old would he have been in 93?
I mean, also not to mention Lion King.
Yeah, I just think his voice had such gravitas that I think we're aging him because of...
Maybe. Yeah.
I'm going to say he was a flat 60 in The Sandlot.
in Sandlot. Okay.
No, 55.
I'm gonna give him. I'm gonna say 59. I'm gonna cusp it.
Okay.
I'm gonna cusp.
Yeah.
I'm gonna cusp 60. You're gonna have to do some quick maths. Okay.
Yeah. I'm still going to need the phone for this.
Okay. He's 91.
He's so old.
He was born in 31. So in 93.
He would have been 62. Wow. A lot older than I thought.
Should have gone with my gut.
I should have gone with my gut, too. I said 60. I should have stuck with that.
Yeah.
Huh. Wow. 62.
Yeah. So he's 91 right now.
Yeah. He's old.
Old man. Just collecting those checks.
Yeah. They're doing in the Obi-Wan show, apparently it says James Earl Jones, but it's like one of those, it's like those the voice technology that they use.
I heard about that.
I'm more upset with the voice thing than I am with deepfakes and stuff. I really don't like it.
Yeah.
Because unless they contacted James Earl Jones and he was like, nah, I don't want to do it, which I hope is the case, that like he just didn't feel like doing it anymore. I mean, he is 91.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, then sure. and you want to honor the legacy of the man by using his voice and not casting somebody else. But if you're just trying to save yourself some money by using this new technology and like just piecing shit together, I will say it sounds pretty good.
It does, yeah.
I thought for sure that that James Earl Jones just returned for the show.
That's what I thought too initially, and it was just because I saw that there were headlines saying like James Earl Jones is voicing Vader again.
Yeah,
and I was like, really? That's incredible.
Yeah,
because I knew he recently had work with The Lion King, the quote unquote live action.
Yeah, and just as recently as Star Wars Rebels, he was voicing Vader.
Interesting.
The Rebels was 2017, 2016. So it's not like, I mean, it was only a couple years ago that he was still in the booth, like voicing.
Well, Lion King was 2019.
Yeah, so I mean, he's
a couple years ago.
Yeah, it's not like he's like retired.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's come time. You know, maybe it's just like I'm done working.
Yeah, he turned 90, and he was like, you know what?
That's enough.
Enough.
I'm gonna just chill.
I've done enough.
Yeah, he certainly has. So. I do hope that's the case. That, you know, they said, hey, this is our plan. You want to be a part of it? And he just said, I'm good.
Yeah. Because the other thing is, they did it with Mark Hamill, but he was there. Mm-hmm. I'm so confused.
Yeah, he was actually on
by Mark
set.
Hamill's involvement in Mandalorian, because
I looked a little
and
more
Boba Fett.
Yeah, I looked a little bit more into it, and they had multiple takes. Yeah. So like
he was there.
They had takes with him there.
Yeah.
Then they had takes with his stand-in, and then they melted the faces together to make it work.
But they also melted the voice performance too.
Yeah.
They used some of his.
I think they used his voice for it, like his take vocally for it, and just like maybe
pitched it up or something.
Yeah, tweaked it to make it sound a little more youthful.
Yeah.
And that was pretty much it.
I mean, I guess I could see that.
And also, he's a voice actor, so
I think he probably could have pulled it off.
Yeah. I'm sure they didn't have to touch it up much.
Yeah.
I do remember, because obviously I watch everything with a critical eye, being a film nerd. But I remember hearing something artificial about it a little bit.
Yeah.
There's a little touch or something.
I don't think his voice is so different that they needed to do. Like, I think he could have just voiced that.
No.
You hear his speaking voice and you're like, I think he could have pulled that off.
Sure. Yeah. And again, he's very talented with his voice, so he could sound more youthful if he wanted to.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I don't know. I think maybe it's stuff where like they have too much technology at their hands, and they're doing stuff where it's like, do we really need to do this? Is this really necessary? Like the thing that they film in now, I forgot what it's called. But
the Void or whatever.
And it's like they have this technology, and it's like they kind of lean on it too much. It's like, do we really need to use this?
100% lean on it too much,
right?
You know, it was a breakthrough, and it was incredible for like the first season of Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Since then, it's been more and more noticeable.
Yeah.
Because I think they're getting a little too comfortable with it.
Yeah.
They're not realizing they can, like, you know, shoot stuff on location and do invest a bit more into their sets, because that was one of the complaints I had about Obi-Wan, was that everything looked kind of cheap or lifeless. Even like the towns that they feature in the show just feel like sets to me.
Yeah.
So if they, I don't know.
I think they shouldn't have bragged so much about the technology, because now when I watch the shows,
you only see that.
Yes.
You're looking for it.
So when I see them walking in like these like wide shots, you're like, okay, how much of that is a real person walking in an area, and how much of that is CG, and how much of that is like the actual characters on this set?
Right.
Like,
they walk like 10 feet.
Yeah.
And then it cuts. And you're like, okay.
And you're like, well, obviously they're on this. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it pulls you out of it.
Yeah. I think it's natural for any technology. You know, we saw that with CG back in the day, and after Jurassic Park again did it.
You're gonna say Jurassic Park
incredibly in the first one. You know, there was this incredible like over involvement of CG.
Yeah.
And it looked terrible, and a lot of movies don't hold up from that period of time right afterwards. And then there was a whiplash effect, and then, you know, people started to figure it out.
Everyone involved with the original Jurassic Park deserves an Oscar, an honorary Oscar. Because when you really think about it, have we actually surpassed that moment?
I still think that, and I like this tweet. You may have seen it on your own feed.
Maybe.
But there's an image of the T-Rex, the famous scene of the T-Rex coming out from the darkness the first time.
Yeah.
You know, through the fence. And there's a tweet that said, we still have not surpassed this moment with CG to this day.
Yeah.
You know, like nothing looks better than this. Nothing looks better than this.
Because it's not just not that it looked not just that it looked better, it sounded better too.
Yeah.
Imagine coming up with that T-Rex roar now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, when's the last time you heard an original sound in a thing where you're like, wow, that is so iconic? Like, someone came up with that noise. They didn't. There's no basis for that noise. You know what I mean? Like, if there was a character in a movie that was like based on a tiger or a lion or something, you have something to base that on.
Yep.
Somebody or a team of somebody's had to just go, what do you think a T-Rex would sound like? And they came up with that roar, and it's like, yo, that's exactly what a T-Rex sounded like.
Yeah. And will now forever sound like
there
to
is
us.
Nothing that you can tell me.
You forget that none of us have ever seen or heard a dinosaur before.
Exactly.
So it could have been anything.
That is the power of that movie.
Yeah. But now
Steven Spielberg was like, this is scientific fact.
Yeah.
This is what a T-Rex sounded like.
Right.
They could have sounded like shit. They could have not made noise at all.
They could have gone,
but all we know is that they make that ferocious noise.
Yeah.
And you know, everybody involved needs to be recognized for the fact that, like, maybe we plateaued in 1994. That was it.
Yeah.
94, and then it was just like we've not gotten better than that.
Yeah.
We've just been chasing that dragon this whole time.
Yeah, I remember actually that's a formative moment for me in my film nerdom. In the Orlando Science Center, there used to be this thing where, like, a screen that you could see, like, a behind the scenes thing of how they made the noise for the T-Rex. And they showed you all the elements of different things that they used for it. I think this is the Orlando Science Center. I don't mean to, miscredit, but some museum-ish place. And it was like, what do all these things make up? And then you hit play, like, you hear them all individually, like the sound separated,
Right?
And then you hear it together, and it's that T-Rex noise, But it's like a lion, an elephant, I think a crocodile or an alligator or something. Yeah. And like all these things, or a hippo, and like all these things together at once, somehow they like engineered to sound like a T-Rex.
Yeah.
And they do that with all the dinosaurs, like all of that.
Yeah.
All of it obviously is fake. You don't realize it watching it though.
Right. Well, we have fallen really far from God's grace with the rest of those movies.
Yeah. And this podcast.
Dude, we're at an hour, and we've talked about nothing.
You gotta have those sometimes. Yeah.
So
I think we should expect that every time there's a beer that is 9 or above.
You didn't think
I
it's
think
because of that we're just like, fuck it.
Yeah, I think we have to have like a grab bag episode, because that's inevitably what it becomes.
Yeah.
Sorry or thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome or sorry. All right, well then, fuck it. That's the end of this podcast.
Okay.
Let's do the cheers of the week.
All right.
We got to crack open another one.
Oh no.
Oh no.
I said sorry or thank you. I meant sorry or you're welcome. Sorry and thank you.
Sorry, thank you.
The wheels are still on. We're fine.
Yeah. As long as we don't say nothing crazy, I think we're all right. Think we aight.
We're gonna be all right.
We gonna be all right.
Oh, perfect. Perfect.
Perfect. All right, you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, Obi. You saw that, right? You saw it just fucking make a beeline for me?
Yes.
All right.
Okay, so my cheers of the week is to The Boys. I don't mean that as like individual male friends I have. I mean the show.
The Boys.
Amazon's The Boys. Recently debuted season 3, I think it is. I think it's season 3. I think it's 3.
Yes, season 3.
Yeah, season 3. And they dropped. They did an interesting thing that I kind of wish more shows would do, because we talk about the benefits of having a weekly show versus a bingeable show on streaming services.
Yeah.
So they kind of split the difference and came out with 3 episodes that you can binge to get into the season, but then they're going with a weekly plan after that.
Right.
So you have like a firm establishment, and then from then on we have enough time to like watch an episode, digest it, and then get ready for the next one.
Yeah.
Which I think is very important for a show like The Boys. Have you finished season 2 yet?
I have not.
You haven't? Okay. Mm-hmm. I advise you do that, because season 3 so far is excellent.
Yeah.
Not for everybody. I gotta say, it is gorier than ever.
Okay.
I mean, I'm fine with ultra gore. I'm fine with ultra violence, and very uncomfortable scenes. But there's stuff in this that even makes me feel kind of gross.
Damn.
But it's all done so intelligently, and even if it's done dumbly, it's for a purpose. And I love the parody of it all. A fine parody is hard to find,
Yeah.
But they do it so well with something that we're obviously so, just smothered in with the superhero genre.
Yeah.
And it's only, we've only gotten more inundated with superhero content with the MCU,
right,
and the DC EU, and et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
And I have to admit, I didn't realize how much I missed something outside of those 2 universes.
Right.
And especially something that, flips the bird at those universes. And it's so refreshing. It's so exciting. It's really a breath of fresh air, as dark as it gets.
Yeah.
But so far I love it, and I'm really glad it's back. I kind of forgot what they were serving over there with The Boys.
Yeah.
So check it out. Check out
or
The
just
Boys.
like a show that, like you said, like is outside of either one of those 2 big universes.
Yeah.
Is like, because the parody thing has become kind of commonplace, but The Boys, I think, does it the best.
It absolutely does. Even better than like Kick-Ass did.
Yeah.
Like it's just, it's very, very on the nose, but also clever about it. It's clever in like a South Park way.
Yeah.
Like it's so on the pulse of not only parodying superhero content, but also our culture in general.
Yeah.
There's so much in it in this season about like, and last season actually, about being PC and kind of all of the talking points that anyone with any kind of viewpoint on culture nowadays would have.
Yeah.
So they get everyone. Everyone gets a little bit in that show, and that's something I appreciate.
Nice.
So check it out if you can stomach it. Not for all, but I like it.
All right. My cheers of the week is going to the first couple of weeks of June.
June.
Give me a second.
Who's June?
So the first couple of weeks of the month of June.
Uh-huh.
My mother was born
Nice.
June 2nd. Allen Iverson was born
Uh-huh.
in the beginning of June.
The 2 most important people in your life.
pretty much.
Yeah.
And Prince was also born.
Wow.
In the beginning,
the Holy
of June.
Trinity.
I mean, if you wanted to understand what makes up me, you have Prince, Allen Iverson, and my mother. And so I didn't realize this until I started seeing these things pop up on.
Wait. Prince, Mom, Allen Iverson. Amen.
Amen. So yeah, I mean, I could spend an entire podcast talking about, 3 podcasts talking about Allen Iverson or Prince or my mother.
Sure.
So the first couple of weeks of June are surprisingly very important. And so I realized this as we were kind of talking about it. I was thinking about who do I want to give a cheers to, and I thought I'll cheers Prince's birthday, and then I was like, no, I'll cheers Allen Iverson's birthday. No, I'll cheers and then I was like, oh, it's a very strange time of the month. And on a sadder note, Anthony Bourdain passed in the month of June, the first week or so of June. I don't remember the date itself, but so very seminal time, very important time, and so cheers. It's also we're in Florida, we're starting to get into summer months.
Sure,
it's gonna fucking suck
already
from this point forward.
It already does.
Yeah.
We've already had multiple days of terrible thunderstorms. I got caught in a hailstorm.
Yeah.
In Oviedo. That was fun.
When was there a hailstorm?
Yesterday.
For real?
Yeah. Yeah, I started hearing tick, 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 tick when I was in traffic, and I was like, oh, great.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It just smashes your windshield.
Yeah, that's all I needed.
Today, this recording, June 8th, it was 95 degrees, and then there was a terrible thunderstorm in the same day.
Yeah.
So
that's how it goes.
Florida, baby.
Florida, baby.
All right. Before we get out of here, we have to talk about these brewskis. So let's get into it. The Wynwood Brewing Company, Father Francisco, the Belgian strong golden ale.
Yeah.
Obi, what'd you think of this?
I really like it. I ordered it in the brewery itself and was surprised by how sweet and smooth it is. I agree with that original take on it in the canned version. So, I mean, obviously it's very strong, a little boozy, but not very, flavor-wise. I don't get that kick in the back of my throat like you might with a very boozy stout.
Right.
The one thing I will ding it for is that the flavor I don't find to be very complex.
Okay.
But it doesn't bother me much that it doesn't have more than a couple of notes,
Yeah.
I think it does what it does, and it does it well. So for that reason,
it does what it does.
I'm gonna give it a 5.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
I'm also gonna give it a 5. I think nice nose.
Yeah.
Caramel, kind of malty, sweet, kind of candy. That's what you want from a Belgian golden ale.
Yeah.
I respect the effort to make a Belgian strong.
Yeah.
And I think not to shit on another brewery, but you talk about spacing on the name.
It's God keeping the name out of your head, so you don't talk shit exactly about anybody.
Yeah. Okay, you know what? That's a good sign.
Yeah.
I won't talk shit about this brewery because I can't think of the name.
Okay.
There are some breweries out there that try to do something like a Belgian strong or a Trappist or a triple or something like that. Now you know. And not so well. This one, I have to say, I tip my hat to you, Wynwood Brewing. This is fantastic.
Yeah.
This is fantastic. So I'm giving it a 5.
Agreed.
Good?
Great.
Now let's get the fuck out of here. This has been the One Beer In podcast for myself, Marco Dupa, for Adam Obesius Rodriguez.
Yeah, buddy.
Thank you guys for listening. Drink delicious beer and have a beautiful evening.
We love you.
I'm sorry.